Hey, what's going on, everybody? TK here, TK and Drinks. We got another live interview coming at you today, and today we are getting finally getting to our interview with the man over at Speakeasy Meadery out of upstate New York. He's going to get back on the line with us. We tried this a couple other times, and it kind of fell through. We had some crappy connection at one time, and I believe the other time I ended up having to cut early for a situation, but both times were pretty much my fault. So I'm glad we were able to reschedule this, and get it up to speed. So as soon as he gets over here, I'll let him introduce himself, and we'll go from there. Also, got a new mic going on tonight, so anybody who's watching this, let me know in the comment. Leave me a comment. Let me know if the audio quality is better, same, or worse than the usual videos. So I don't see anybody showing up yet, which is unfortunate. Got full 5G coverage, so we are good to go there. Let's see here. All right, yeah, no, nobody's here tonight. Okay, well, first things first, we can talk about what we'll be drinking tonight, because I always forget to do that until it's like 20 minutes into the interview and stuff. So tonight for my interview, I'm going to be drinking a bottle of the Murphy from DeLeos Meadworks out of, I believe he's in Florida as well. I can't remember exactly where DeLeos is at. But this mead is a palmetto honey with blackberry and black currant. It's supposed to be big and heavy and fruity and delicious. So we'll see what's going on with that. Definitely got myself a nice glass right here. I should start doing a series as which meads are the same color as Darth Maul, or like which ones can like look, get the most true color to Darth Maul. This one, pour a little more, right? What the heck, why not? See, what are we looking at here? That is not very Darth Maul red at all. That's way too dark. Can't even get behind that as a Darth Maul red. But blackberries, black currants definitely are going to produce a nice dark, deep, full saturated red. Does have a it's got like an off brilliant clarity when I do get some light going on, shining through there, which I always like. A brilliant mead doesn't always mean it's the best quality, but they are always nice to look at. Got a nice tartness on the nose from the black currants and from the blackberries. Pretty strong. Maybe if I would have filled it up a little less, it might even be more pronounced. This is just off of room temperature, so it's effervescing quite a bit, getting a lot of those smell molecules out into the air. And I am just off the freeway parked, so if you hear any trucks, anything going by, please do forgive me for that. Smells delicious. Fully sweet, like a full sweet jamminess type of quality to it. With that nice tartness that you again get naturally from those berries. I'm stuttering as I'm watching people pop in here, and kind of just hoping that Speakeasy is able to join in. I didn't. Maybe I jumped time zones, didn't realize it, but I hope this is at the right time. This is supposed to be 8 o'clock Eastern time, which is pretty sure that's where I'm at with that anyway. He didn't message me or anything about being late, so he was usually pretty good about that in the past. So it's definitely got some black currant and blackberry flavors to it. It's got this like tangy bitterness, which I think comes from either the palmetto honey or maybe a funky yeast strain that I'm not familiar with, but it's definitely tangy and bitter, and I wouldn't call it like, I guess it, like, the tanginess is pleasant, but like there's this like bitterness that is not pleasant. So you guys stopped changing daylight savings in Mexico. Oh, you lucky son of a gun. I wish we didn't have to do that. Surprise caught the stream. Hey, very cool, man. I'm glad somebody popped in, was able to enjoy what's going on. Yeah, I'm kind of curious as where Speakeasy's at. He's usually not late for these things. Like I said, I was not able to communicate with him today, but he hasn't usually been late for anything else. So we'll hang out for a little bit and see if he shows up and go from there. So yeah, I haven't read up much on DeLeo's Meadery. They're out of, again, I'm pretty sure they're out of Florida. But I do dig the Dave Chappelle artwork with the Murphy, and I do like their logo. They got that like kind of graffiti looking bee dripping, the purple outline on there, kind of got the bug eyes going on. Looks like he kind of bit on a little bit of everybody's style, got a little bit of funktastic, like street style in there, got like the manic type of bee face going on in there, looking all crazy. So, yeah, this one, I'm trying to find something nice to say about it because I really did not enjoy that drink on it. I mean, it's not bad, doesn't taste like it's like off or anything, but I'm telling you, maybe it's that palmetto honey mixed with the berries or something. It just gives it an extra kick and zip from that bitterness and tanginess. No fusel alcohols or anything like that. It's just really tangy and tart. And it almost has like that like I don't know, maybe it's like the berry equivalent of like orange pith that got left in, or citrus pith that got left in there. It's got that like kind of orange peely type of taste to it, but maybe it's from the palmetto honey. I've only had it one other time before, and that one I guess kind of did have a little bit of a zippiness to it, but I thought that one was rather enjoyable. This one is like almost taking away from the product in and of itself. Like the berry aroma is good. Like I get pleasant. It's kind of even vinous on there. Like it's kind of like red wine like, but that flavor on there is not desirable for this cat. I'll give you that. Some other cats out there might like it, but not this guy. Yeah, man. And I can't go send him a message without breaking the stream. So I don't really know how to handle that. I mean, I guess I can name the interview, rename it later. If he ends up not showing up, I'm just doing a regular Wednesday night live video. We need to get back into those anyway. So I've been building actually another profile for restructuring a TK and Drinks show. I'm going to keep this TK and Drinks interview thing, and then instead of doing like the mead reviews and all those other kind of just random one-off videos, we're going to kind of consolidate that all down into like one kind of segmented type show. I keep saying it's me. That's what I'm doing. I think I'm going to go with the title, at least working title of that mead show. I'm going to do like a news segment, start the thing off with kind of like a little monologue or like a little rant of the day, something like that. And then I want to do a mead competition spotlight, do like a little 5 to 10 minute piece, talk to the mead competition organizer, give them a little bit of a platform to speak about their competition, what's going on with it, what categories they're going to have available, that type of information. And then want to do like a focus on BJCP guidelines, styles, and stuff like that. Every episode too, do a little informational thing, if we can talk to somebody about that, or if we can do it like all in one where we're talking to somebody about the competition and then they go in and talk about a style as well. Or maybe I'll just talk about the style and tie that to a mead review, which again isn't going to go away all the way. It's just going to morph into like as a segment of the show. So I could talk about a mead style, something mead, BJCP mead related with the mead that I'm drinking. Like today we could be doing, semi-sweet mellow-mellows, and here we go. And it's supposed to be, this, is the colors that we're supposed to get, and these are the, notes that you should be getting from these types of berries and all that stuff, and make it like a little BJCP educational segment and whatnot, which I think would be a fun educational thing to help me learn, to help other people learn. And I was thinking about doing mead cocktails too, which might be a possibility because I'm going to be in a little more stable situation for a little while. So I might be able to collect some generic cocktail mixings and stuff like that. My wife is a whiz at coming up with cool cocktail ideas with mead. Every time I mention something, she comes up with unique flavor profiles. So I'm sure we can come up with some cool stuff and involve her in that way. And then again, these interviews that apparently is not going to happen tonight are going to try to continue. I do have some lined all the way up. Oh, and then the TK and Drinks platform is going to be changing. Looking into, I think it's called an OSB system. It's basically like a live video podcasting system. It's just an internet-based thing and everything. So I'll be able to live stream to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube all at the same time, and even Twitch if I had a Twitch account. So I'd be able to do all those things from one place, be able to get the nice horizontal. I can't flip my phone because the the holder that it's in, but a nice horizontal landscape type of framing for it. And again, I've got these new microphones, so I'm hoping that the volume and the audio is going to be conducive and everything like that. And I did check it out, got the little microphones and everything like that. I got the one I'm rocking with here. Probably didn't even notice it on the hat. Maybe you did. I don't know. But I do have a second one here. So when I'm out doing interviews, like in person, I can either hold it like a stick mic and like give interviews like that. And they're right there. Oh, it looks like Speakeasy's here. Sweet. Or, if I'm doing a longer interview, they can just, clip it on their lapel, their hat, their glasses, their nose, their mustache, their beard, wherever, whatever they're feeling that day. And we got some better audio for these interviews. Try to step up that professionalism and that quality a little bit. So let's get online. Ooh, Speakeasy Meadery. There it is. So, big things coming to TK and Drinks in the next little bit. Hey, what's going on, brother?
TK, how you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there, my man. How are you doing today? Thanks for coming back again for like the third time.
Yeah, no, my pleasure.
At this point, I figure I might as well just put you on the payroll and start cutting your checks. I'll send the W-2s to be in the mail.
Sounds good.
Oh, make sure I got my audio up here. Can you hear me fairly well?
Yeah, no problem.
Excellent, loving it. I got a new microphone, so I want to make sure that that's getting a nice, healthy sound over there to you.
Yes, sir.
So go ahead and give yourself a little introduction and talk about a mead if you're drinking any meads tonight. I always forget to ask people what they're drinking way too late into the show, if at all.
Well, my name's Christian Schneller, and I started home brewing in about 2019. And eventually I'm going to open up a farm meadery in Rochester called Speakeasy Meadery. And tonight I'm drinking one of my meads. Let me see if I can get a good...
Labels all, here we go.
The Mead Sheen.
Hey, that was legit.
It's a cherry sour Kool-Aid mead that I made that I sent to comedian Bert Kreischer. And it's waiting for him right now. And I'm just waiting to hear back from him.
Now, one thing I do remember from one of our previous interviews was that you were talking about that and whatnot, because he had a bit in one of his specials about talking about the sour cherry Kool-Aid or something like that.
Yeah, so in Two Bears, One Cave, it's a podcast he does with another comedian, Tom Segura. He busted out a gallon of Kool-Aid and just drinks that like every day. And so I got kind of the idea of, oh man, if I could make like a cherry Kool-Aid mead, if I could get it in his hands, that I just think that'd be the coolest thing.
Right.
So did some work on it, got a label done, and slapped it on some bottles and sent it to him. Nice.
You had a sort of in on that whole situation, right?
So
had a friend of a friend, like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I had a kid in high school that I had a friend that she was a lot closer with him than I was, but he's Bert's assistant. So I reached out to her to ask him, like, hey, would it be possible for me to send some mead his way? Like, I don't know. And he said, yeah, gave me their P.O. box. And so I got a case of that along with a bunch of other, like, hot sauces, hot honeys, some vanilla extracts that I made. Just a bunch of stuff to try to, if I'm going to be able to send something to Bert, might as well send as much stuff as I can and just, hope something sticks.
No kidding, man. That could be how awesome would that be if you come to this like roundabout way to have like this commercial sponsor and help you open up through Bert Kreischer and have like a celebrity backing endorsement type deal going on. That'd be freaking baller.
That'd be pretty cool.
No, that would be it'd be a lot cooler than what's his name over at All Wise, the freaking Disney Channel kid.
Yeah.
There you go, Dylan Sprouse. I've heard he wasn't very cool to people, and his stuff sucks on top of that. Like, you can be one or the other, but you can't do both.
Right. That's tough to stay in business doing that. But
yeah, that's just rumors. I haven't talked to him. But
I've had a couple of his meads, and I thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think
go ahead.
One was like a rotamel, so I think it had like some rose hips in there. That was really interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I hear a lot of this stuff is in the methaglen and like kind of more with I say traditional styles, but more like Eastern, Western European styles, Norwegian styles, lots of like all spices and nutmegs and all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool that you guys at least try stuff. Every time I ever looked at his website, it was always sold out, which I was kind of a bummer. But at the same time, I'm sure I'll stumble across a bottle here or there somewhere.
Right.
So you said you've been doing this since 2019, and are you still? You had an alcohol related job. You were working as like a buyer for a alcohol for like a store or something.
I work at a liquor store, and
okay.
Customers. But that was a great way to just get involved in the industry.
There you go.
A lot of connectivity. And it's kind of cool to just, every day I go in there and you're learning stuff about people, like what they like to drink, what, how customers kind of think. So that's been really cool. And they've been very supportive. I get to bring my meat in and, have people, not customers, but like have like sales reps and our purchasers back try it and, give me feedback. So that's been really cool.
Yeah. It's definitely nice to get your meat in the hands of people that drink it and taste it on a regular basis and get some feedback from them. Even if they're not, ranked judges or anything. It's not like professional feedback, but still, somebody who drinks a lot of meat. Any feedback they can give you, I think, is a positive.
Definitely.
So, where are you at in the stage of coming to fruition as a commercial meadery? How big of batches are you making? How many batches are you making at a time? You got the full gamut. Are you doing carbonated kegs? What are you looking at for your operation here?
So right now, still just like home brewing. I've got like a 55-gallon drum. Brew about 100 gallons every year. I think that's what home brewers are allowed to do.
Sure.
So I try to get about 100 the last like 3 years. I've got like a dozen 5-gallon kegs. And I've done a bunch of like carbonating through kegs, forced carbonation. That now it's kind of just a matter of getting the funds together to be able to, still work during the day and then be able to put money into, opening up a place with just waiting for everything and getting that going.
No kidding, man. The funds to do that type of stuff is bonkers, especially, some states are certainly worse than others with the amount of permits and hoops and red tape you have to go through and pass and under and all that. But just in general, that is a not for the weak of heart venture, man. I'll tell you what, that'll put some stress on you.
Right.
Oh, man. So you said you're going to be there in what part of New York? You're in the Rochester area?
Yeah, Rochester, New York.
Got you. In the Rochester area. And that's not too far from Buffalo, right?
Yeah, no, that's pretty close. Maybe about like hour and a half.
So last week I was speaking with the cats over at Queen City. I don't know if you've heard of them.
It sounds familiar.
Over in West Seneca.
Okay.
Yeah. And he said that they have like about 5 meaderies or so in that area. That's starting to get pretty saturated. So what do you think? What do you hope that your meat can do to separate you from like these other cats that are out there that already have like an established name, so to speak?
Right. That's a good question. I think I want to put a lot of passion in making good mead. When I first started out, I definitely made some stuff that I had friends try that I probably could have flushed, but that's part of learning about it. But yeah, I want to make, spectacular mead that, is flawless. And I want to make a bunch of different kinds. So, if someone doesn't like that, sack mead that's super sweet, maybe I can make something light and carbonated that's crushable. I want to be able to make it all so that nobody, when I meet somebody, there's no way that they'll be like, oh, I don't like mead. It's just you haven't found the right one. And I kind of want to figure out a way to make a bunch so that a huge like melting pot of people could be around, and there's going to be something for everyone there. It's not just a bunch of sours or a bunch of like braggots. I want to do it all.
Do you want to do more of like the tap room style, or do you want to do excuse me, do more of a distribution style where you're going out, hitting different bars, tap rooms, getting your bottles out there, and trying to go that route? Spread your fingers and toes as many pies as possible.
So I'm looking to obtain New York's farm meadery license. So
Okay.
that allows you to produce 250,000 gallons a year.
That's a
Again, that's
lot.
way more. Yeah, that's way more than I want to get to right off the bat. But just knowing that's
Sure.
like to be able to try and scale it down from there. That I want to do it just whatever way I can start. Working full time and then transition to part time at my job and then be able to do this fully. So if it means just producing like 5 gallons here or there out of a small place and get it in a liquor store to take it to festivals, whatever way I can transition to making this what I do for the rest of my life, that's probably the avenue I'll go. If a tap room makes sense first, I'd do that, but whatever's gonna help me make this like a long-term reality, it's kind of the goal.
That flexibility is probably going to be very beneficial to you in the coming, through your coming struggles. If you're just willing to roll with the punches. Some people get an idea so dead set in their mind. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm doing, and get laser focused and miss other opportunities or make bad decisions based on that, trying to complete, the dream, so to speak. So that's good to hear that you're willing to, do what it takes and what you need to adapt and overcome. Um, your meads that you're going to be making, like you said, you've messed around with forced carb, you've messed around with pretty much a little bit of everything, it sounds like. Do you have a style that you want to specialize in? I know you said you want to hit kind of like all the, hit everything so you have something for everybody, but is there a specific style or something that you really specialize in? You get the sizer guy? Are you the, the berry bomb guy, or anything like that?
I definitely like mellow mellows. I think if I were to go like the tap room route, I have a lot of success with my session meads. Something that's light, crisp, kind of crushable. I think maybe I might just stay a little bit away from traditionals,
Sure.
just because I kind of want to make my meads approachable for people that have never had it before. And
And they don't sell.
right. And I like mimosas, like gimmicky stuff that, someone, oh, I've had that before. That sounds similar. I'll give that a shot
Yeah.
rather than, oh, do you try this thing you've never heard of that, you can't really relate it to anything. So I would say session meads and maybe sours. I like sours.
Got you. What's your favorite mead style to drink if you're going out picking up somebody else's bottle, or you're out at somebody else's meadery? What's your go-to grab off the menu?
Uh, so like how I drink, man, I just whatever it is, like I just want to like slam it. So it could be anything, whatever
Crushable meads.
me. Whatever's next is like what I'm interested in trying. I'll really not gonna
Whatever
shop.
fills up the glass. Whatever's in the glass is what's my favorite mead at that moment.
That's right.
Yeah, I can be on board with that. Um, do you have a preferred yeast strain that you plan on working with? Do you have one that you use for just your melomels? Do you have one that you just kind of blanket use across the board for all of your home brewing needs?
So Lalvin, I've had a lot of success with some of their strains, like 71B is real hardy. That's a pretty, you can really beat that yeast up, and it'll give you a decent product pretty quick. Philly
Sure.
Stout, really cool one. You can get
Yeah.
some stuff done in like 14 days, finish fermenting with that. It's been pretty clean. One that I had a lot of fun with is Sundew. It's made by Omega. So that one's been genetically engineered with CRISPR to block like phenolic characters and kind of pump like fruity esters. So I've done
Oh,
a like lemongrass meads and like passion fruit meads at like jacked up temps that really pump those flavors out, and that's been really cool to see. Like, I'll have a mead that'll do pretty much the same exact recipe as one previous, but just with that sundew yeast, and like two different meads completely.
Got you, man. How are you incorporating that lemongrass in there? That sounds awesome.
So I've done a couple different ones. I mean, I've boiled it in, made like a tea, and then I've had a couple like lemongrass tubes that I've got at the grocery store that I put in, and then I'll like kind of boil it in secondary. Doing the Most has a couple good videos on like lemongrass meads.
Hmm.
I think I've got a couple ideas from there.
I got you. That's freaking legit. How when you're thinking about these things, like, is there a specific process you go through for layering, building your layers of your flavor, or do you kind of just throw everything in there at one time and hope that it just kind of comes out with as this, wonderful amalgamation?
Probably a little bit of both. If I'm doing a mead that I've told people like, oh, I want to do this one next, I'll tend to try to have a method. I've noticed in like primary fermentation, if I put fruits in there, I'll get a lot of that on like the nose and stuff, but it'll eat a lot of that sugar away. So if I want something to have like a nice like aroma, but I don't really want them to taste it, then sometimes I'll probably put my stuff in primary. Um, and sometimes it's just throwing the kitchen sink at it, and oh man, I want to add some cranberry juice to this, or oh, what would rose hips do to this? I did one wedding mead for my little brother and his wife, and my little brother in my fraternity and his wife got married. I did a wedding mead for them with a letter. Each one of their initials, I took an ingredient and kind of added it into like one big like melting pot, and made a big bottle for them of that, and it actually turned out pretty good. I had like raspberries, peaches, cranberry juice, lemons, rose hips, and apples with some Princess Blossom honey from Wild
Yeah.
Kiwi, and it was really cool. That turned out real nice.
That all those flavors seemed like in the right combinations, it would definitely work. I agree with whoever's clicking the fire button over there. That actually sounds pretty fire. And that princess tree honey was one of my favorites. I keep bugging Sean. He doesn't even know if he's going to get any this year. So that actually sounds really good. Did you keep any for yourself, or did you pretty much just bottle up and everything went to the wedding?
I've still got a couple bottles of that left, and I'm sure it'll make it their way over to them, and we'll share it in the years coming.
Gotcha. No, that's amazing. I hope to be able to have something that awesome and that opportunity to make something like that for somebody. That's an honor and a true challenge, because it gives you that fire under your ass. It's like, all right, if I fuck this up, I'm going to really ruin someone's special day potentially. I mean, maybe not, but still, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I want to give someone something that I can be proud of, and I did that with one of my cousin's wedding meads too. I was kind of nervous. I'd never made that recipe before, and oh man, what if I give them something that people want to just like spit out afterwards? But that one I had the Mazer Cup, and this past year won bronze with that, which that was really, it was kind of just that confirmation, like, all right, I did them justice. I gave them something that wasn't just a homemade gift. It was something that had some value to it.
Yeah. And I love, again, like I said, the commercial feedback, or not necessarily commercial feedback, but professional feedback is really awesome. There's a place out there called the Mead Institute. They're just starting a commercial only.
I know.
I saw that. I don't know what it's going to take to get on that panel of judges there. I think it's
A lot of
by commercial mead makers for commercial mead makers, but I've seen some of the names on there are supposed to be like some real hardcore, like sommeliers and like real wine people.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what styles get blasted and which styles get get championed and whatnot. I'm always interested to see what wine people think of like the crazy dessert style, like the sugar belt type stuff. You know what I mean? Stuff that finishes at like 11:20 or whatever. It's like, what are you gonna think of that? I mean, because that's way stronger than any sherry or port that I've ever had. You know, those things are like on a caliber all of their own. So I'm
Right.
excited to see what that happens. Do you plan on having any that make it all the way that high and like complete dessert style meads when you do your thing?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, nice.
So that New York State farm meadery license, I would have to use exclusively New York State honey. And then, a further goal, I want to be able to keep a small amount, but I do want to keep my own bees to be able to get my own honey.
Sure.
And then so having kind of like that estate style needs where it's all my honey. It's going to be small batch. Do these really
Yes.
ones with, maybe I kind of want to plant like loganberry tree or bushes, get some loganberries, and just have these really unique meads that I'm not going to make thousands of gallons of it. It's going to be a real small batch, real thick, real sweet, and like that
Yeah.
special kind of stuff where maybe like you get like 20 bottles a year out of it, but you save
Yeah.
those.
What would be your favorite like dream ingredient to work with to make a batch of, one of these estate meats as you call them? I like that. I like that term. I think I might hijack that from you.
Sounds good, man. Go for it. So I really like loganberries. I think it's really unique with that kind of raspberry, blackberry kind of hybrid. I want it to be something unique, something different that, oh, I haven't heard of that, or, not
Yeah.
everyone's doing. So I think something like that would be cool. I'm getting ready to start planting some peppers, like spicy peppers. I
Mhm.
think that's cool to kind of do like a capsamel, maybe something real spicy, even maybe something that, you put them in little shot jars that people can try, and it's got that real thick, sweet honey, but that heat's kicking in there. I
Right.
think that would be cool. Bunch of buddies, you get 4 or 5 of them, and people are sitting there passing around, drinking it. See who can handle the heat, but you still got that nice honey finish.
Do your own hot ones episode.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully.
Hot meads. You got like 5 different meads set up with different levels of heat, and everybody just sitting there going ham on them.
Yeah,
Oh, now that if you ever want to do that, I would love to be a part of something like that. I don't even like spicy meads, but that just sounds like a kick-ass adventure.
sounds good.
Um, so with that, thought of wanting to do what nobody else does, not wanting to do what everybody else is doing. I've been thinking a lot about that lately as I'm starting to put together my own meads and starting to think about flavor profiles and whatnot. Um, how do you plan on, as somebody who stated that they want to be on that cutting edge, so to speak? What is your do you have like a plan for that? I mean, are you keeping tracks of what other mead makers are doing and trying to think outside the box, as it were, or do you just kind of keep to yourself? You don't really pay attention to what anybody else is doing and just let all your creativity come from other places, so to speak.
I definitely like looking out what people are doing. Try to figure out what's successful. Seeing mead sell at the liquor store has been helpful too. It kind of figures out like, all right, people are coming in this kind of preconceived idea that I want something real honey, real sweet. Um, I want to make unique things, stuff that like inspires me. If I see something that someone's doing, I'm going to want to try and put my own kind of spin on it. I don't want to just duplicate, they're doing a really cool sicer. I want to make the exact same thing, but I want to make something that, people are going to want to try.
I'm I'm here for all of that. I had a big thoughts of trying to do something different than everybody else, and the more I look and the more I think it's like, man, original thought is such a hard thing to come by anymore, which is really unfortunate. But oh, we lost you. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
But original thought's such a hard thing to come by. I think I'm trying to go and just do the best versions of what I can do out there, and I'm trying to use people as um, you know, an inspiration, a springboard. Like you said, I want to see what other people are doing out there, and try to do my best version of what they're trying to accomplish.
right.
Yeah, I don't. One of the things that really, I guess, gets to me is on like a lot of the Facebook groups and the Reddit stuff. Everybody like day in and day out. Hey, who has a recipe for this? Who has a recipe for that? Like, what, you know how to make mead. You've done this before. Like, why don't you just throw something together? Like, why do you want to make what somebody else is already making? Like, I can understand, like, hey, what's your process for this? How do you incorporate peaches to get this flavor profile? How do you know, how do you ferment to take away, this phenolic taste that comes off of there or something? But to just say straight up, give me your recipe so I can, follow it step for step. That, I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I think it's cool if like someone, they're gonna make it like once and then, they'll go on to their next thing. But yeah, like half the time, I've got the same recipe, but maybe not this time I ended up throwing an extra handful of cherries in there, just because I wanted to. A lot of stuff kind of just like doing it by feel. So it's like I'll have my game plan. I want to do it to a T, and then as we're getting there, just kind of play it out by feel.
Yeah, and I guess I'm just not to the point yet to where I'm confident enough to be able to like think far enough ahead to plan out, what this is going to taste like. I haven't tried enough different yeast varieties and different flavor combinations through fermentation and whatnot. But I'm really looking forward to building that knowledge base as I continue to grow and do more fermenting and stuff. Um, you said with your license that you'd only be allowed to use 100% New York honey. How do you get around that? I don't remember hearing if you did mention it. I apologize.
So I mean, there's no way of getting around that. I mean,
Oh,
like right now, I'm just a home brewer, so like I'll use like Sean's honey from
sure.
Hawaii. I really like that stuff, but I'll have to find a honey source in the near future in the likely Rochester area, but up to New York. And I mean, that'll be cool. I think using local ingredients anytime you can source that, it's really cool.
Sure.
Just be a matter of, is it accessible? But yeah, I mean that'll be exciting. With local beekeepers, and I've already met a few, and hopefully in the next few months, be able to find. It's easy to get like 5-gallon buckets at a time, no problem.
Right. And you can always join the AMMA. Is there like a New York mead makers association, or anything like that, like Homebrewers Alliance?
I think there was getting ready to be like a group together. I had, but yeah, that's something I could look into too. About there's
Sure.
like Surefire Meadery, their local meadery in Rochester. I've hung out with them a few times, and probably be a good place to get some information. They have the same license that I'll be going for.
Definitely, yeah. It's always nice to be able to get the information straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. They went directly through it. They can give you all their experiences, what to say and not to say, who to talk to, what information you're going to need when. I think that's one mistake a lot of mead makers or home mead makers go through when they're trying to go commercial, is they'll just jump straight into the water with both feet, which is cool. I mean, if you're going to jump in feet first, do it. But, when six-figure bank accounts start getting involved, I want to be a little more trepidatious with the way I'm doing my things. I want to make sure there's no rocks at that bottom I'm going to bust my face on.
Right.
So are you a home beer brewer as well, or are you just solely doing the mead thing?
It was mead from pretty much the start. I've done one braggot before, and I definitely want to do beer. I've done
Okay.
a cider or two. Like like a seltzer. I think that's about it.
Ooh,
Um, but
okay.
yeah, I mean, I want to do beer. I got into mead first because I didn't want to light my face on fire boiling the beer, so I kind of went with mead. And mead was unique. It was different. I think it'd be kind of hard if just was like I want to open a brewery, especially in Rochester. You could walk down the street and find a dozen breweries on every corner. So I think the
Yeah,
mead kind of gives that unique characteristic that hopefully I'll be able to capitalize on.
absolutely. Yeah. And even when like brewing communities are supportive of each other, when they're that saturated, it starts to get to be, we can all be as supportive as we are, but I mean, come on, man, do we really need 12 breweries and a 15 block radius?
Right.
Do you plan on doing anything in the realm of like collabs with other mead makers there in New York? Have you thought about putting together? I know mentioned a little like a mead alliance or something, but how about like a um, like a collaboration series with all these different cats?
Oh yeah. I think teamwork makes the dream work, and the opportunity to work with someone and see how they do things, see how I do things. And I think collaboration, anytime you have that opportunity, I think it's worth pursuing. Um, but I always wanted to do it on my own, just so that I didn't need to rely on other people to get it done. So, I want to establish myself on my own, and then hopefully bring a product that people are going to want to work with. And then, you'd be able to reach an untapped market of, all the people that are loyal to one meadery. They're getting that experience of trying something different. And I think it's cool with collaborating. And somebody else, doesn't but wants to get experience in that. I think that's cool that you can kind of work together and come up with something, unique and together.
Oh, definitely. Anything collab related, I'm usually on board with just to see what comes out. Is the sum going to be better than the whole of its parts, so to speak? Where do you see the meat, like as somebody who's trying to get into the commercial meat world, like where do you see the industry going in the next 5 years? You seem like you've been in, you're homebrewing for a couple, 4 or 5, coming up on 4 to 5 years. I'm sure you've been a craft beer drinker for years before that. Where do you see the industry going?
I think the sky's the limit. I mean, if you see how cider blew up, the past like 10, 15 years, um,
Mm-hmm.
a quality product like honey, I think people, if you expose them to good quality mead, I think people latch onto it. And, if you can start out small and then just keep growing that, yeah, I think mead could really, anything could happen with it.
Do you see there being more of a place for do you see is there a place for everybody for the sessions, for the low ABV stuff, for the big fruit heavy, $60 bottle estate style type of meads that some of these cats are doing, and everything in between? Or do you see some of those guys potentially kind of fading out and the niches really kind of just clinging to the surface?
I think mead's so underdeveloped that to me it's so few and far between. When I first started, just in New York, there were only a couple meaderies around, and now like more and more are popping up. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it was just like you're lucky if you found one, and whatever they had, you're happy with.
True.
Better than, I don't know, I like Bunratty or something like that. That's like mass produced, and it's okay, but I think there's a lot
Yeah.
more like local stuff you can find down the road.
Agreed. I'd like to believe that the industry is going to continue to. I mean, I think it'll cap out differently than these other markets like cider and craft beer stuff, only because, like everybody says, honey is so expensive. I think it'll be turned into more like a lot of the canned session stuff, the lower ABV stuff to go against like your seltzers and your uh, like your hard. What do they call it? Like the Topo Chico. I guess that is like a hard
Yeah,
seltzer and stuff like that. But
light.
I think, or the ciders, I think that those ones will certainly gain in popularity and do their thing. But I think the more expensive bottles, at least in the short term, the next 5 years, the 375 bottles and whatnot, that those expensive heavy ones, I think that those are going to see a real um, decline in not only the people producing them. I think the quality will stick around for the people that do, but I don't think there's going to be nearly the market for them that there has been the past couple of years. I think it's just too much money for people in the current, as people always say, the current situation, the current economic times,
Right.
these times that we're in, unprecedented times.
Definitely. Yeah, I've even seen with like the garagists, they've watched how the market's been trending, and they've started to offer, some more like sessionable options that are a
Mm.
little expensive. So that's cool to see, them like adapting to it and having like a plan.
Oh yeah, you can see it. It's a direct correlation. There's a lot of the bigger guys, or I say bigger, but certainly larger named characters in the industry that are cutting over to those. Superstition's been doing it for a little while now. I saw Meadery was doing it for one of theirs called Little Elliot for their flagship blueberry mead.
Hmm.
Like you said, Garrett G stood down there. Chad's doing something apparently with some sessionable stuff. So, yeah, and that's a smart call to be able to get your products out there and your name out there to, even wider audience, because there's a lot of people that don't want that, those big heavy stuff. And I mean, there's a lot of people that do, but be able to get out to your at least distribution wise, and the can stuff keeps longer. Like you said, it's more economical. You can get a 4-pack for the price of almost a bottle of the stuff, and you got 4 you can share or send around. It's a little more shelf stable.
Right.
Definitely. Do you have a favorite um, homebrew that you made that you would hope to take commercial? There's something that really just sticks out in your mind as something I want to share this particular one with the world?
I'm right now. I'd have to say it's the Mead Sheen, the cherry sour that I made for Bert. Um,
Okay.
I really think I hit it out of the park. I mean, it's crisp, it's sour. You get that honey sweetness, but it's not too sweet. Yeah, I mean, I was just first try. There's nothing that like, oh man, I wish I had cut back on the cherry or added more acidity, needed some
Hmm.
more like tannins to it. No, I mean, it worked out, and yeah, yeah, I'm excited with.
You didn't use real Kool-Aid packets in that, did you? It's a simulated flavor that you created.
So I used like a cherry juice base. Added black cherries in primary fermentation. Added more tart cherries in secondary. Cold crashed that, and then hit it with just a little bit of that powdered Kool-Aid, just so that it's got it in there. And I think you get
Okay,
added a little bit of acidity to it,
gotcha,
that makes it almost like a liquid, like sweet tart.
gotcha. But it doesn't seem it wasn't like the driving force behind it. You just brew like a mead and then just dump a bunch of these packets in there and call it good. You actually developed a flavor
Yeah, kind
profile.
of built that cherry backbone with the juice and the fruit, added
Nice.
that honey, and yeah, just kind of hit it with a little bit of that powder at the end, just to kind of boost that acidity up a little bit and
Hold,
give it a little bit more of kind of Kool-Aid flavor.
hold, hold that back up. Let me see that again. Let me see what the
So
color on that. See, liking that. What do you? There you go. That's what I'm talking about. What do you clarify with? Do you use like a 2-part, or do you just use filtration, or
I just cold crashed.
just cold
Filtered.
crash everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got like a chest freezer in the basement, and
Hmm.
I have SS Brew Tech, like one of those 7-gallon fermenters. Racked it out of the carboy into there, cold crashed it for a couple weeks, and then yeah, just it kind of pulled everything out. All that left
Damn.
Kool-Aid particles too kind of floated to the bottom, and we're left with just that real clean, real clear.
Nice. No potassium, no sulfates, no sorbites,
Yep.
nothing of that.
I, all
Dang.
natural, no stabilizers.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
So far, so good.
Very cool, man. You seem to have a very stable and steady process that you're doing. You've got a decent amount of space that you're working with as far as um, like areas to ferment and clearly if you've got a giant chest freezer dedicated to cold crashing, uh, that's pretty damn cool. Where do you see yourself being in the next 5 years? You gonna be commercial then? You trying to be? Is that a little farther out than that?
I think 5 years is realistic. I'm hoping it's closer to like 1 or 2, but we'll see. So sometime in the next like week or two, I'm going downtown in Rochester and looking at a property.
Oh,
That
wow.
family friend has, just to see if would it make sense.
Yeah.
I think a big thing just finding a space that then I can figure out. All right, what kind of fermenters could I fit in here, and what kind of game plan, would I do with that? If does this place mean I would definitely do a tap room? All right, then I really got to be cranking out meads at this rate, or
Yeah.
maybe I find a space that I can make some meads that I can sell at the liquor store, take it to like the public market and stuff like that. Start out a little bit smaller, get established that way. Kind of just when the timing works out, I think I'll know and kind of go that route, and just kind of
Can
every day at getting a little bit closer than I was the day before.
Nice. I like your very like Zen attitude about it. You have this like calmness just wash over you when you talk about it. Like you're like laser focused underneath. I like that. That's cool. Um, is there a possibility you getting like a piece of property and like just building your own thing and like living there and doing like your own farm winery all in one location type thing?
So yeah, that's again, long term goals. I want to be able to
Okay.
buy a nice lot of land, hopefully in the Rochester area, and be able to have that estate where this is where I spend. I'll have a tap room where this is where everyone comes. Again, with the farm meadery license, I can have like up to 5 different like satellite spots. So I
Oh,
think that would be cool to have the estate area, and then maybe have like a smaller tap room like in the city, uh, maybe one in like wine country, and kind of grow it that way. But yeah, I'd love to make something that like I'm always there, I'm always working, but it's what I love, so it's not gonna really feel the same way as going to a job you don't care so much about, but you got to make ends meet.
dude. That's the dream though, isn't it? To have your own piece of property, doing your own thing, you're making your own rules and working and slaving for yourself instead of for someone else.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, definitely coming up on the hour mark here. If you got time, I got some rapid fire questions, some finish the sentence type questions. Like I said, if you got a couple more minutes.
Absolutely.
All right, I call this part the Inside the Meat Maker Studio. I got a couple questions here. Um, First thing in the morning, what do you think about or do?
uh Check the clock, just hope I didn't oversleep.
I'm the same way. I'm the first thing as soon as I open my eyes, I'm over looking at that clock. What time is it? What? How much time do I got left to do anything? Am I sleeping still? Whatever.
Right.
Um, Hot or cold?
Cold. Yeah, definitely. If it's too hot, I can't focus. Definitely would always rather be a little too cold.
Toilet paper, hang over the front or drape over the back?
Indifferent to it, what sometimes
Completely indifferent.
the other, no
It,
stakes.
it's toilet paper. People focus way too much on that.
That's right.
What was your favorite breakfast cereal, either now or as a kid?
uh Cheerios or honey bunches of oats. It's pretty boring.
So I'm pretty more. I like Honey Bunches of Oats. Nothing wrong with that. And Honey Nut Cheerios. A good Honey Nut Cheerio for me personally is still a favorite of mine today. I think go to.
Can't go wrong.
Uh, what was your first car?
A 2005 Ford Focus stick.
Oh, okay. It was or wasn't?
Was the stick shift? Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Still learning on the manual transmissions, man. I like to hear that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Do you like to cook food?
Love cooking food.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
I think I make a pretty good steak in the sous vide. So take like a tenderloin, cook it for like, I did one for like 8 hours in the sous vide at like 130, and then, just sear it real quick in the pan, and oh, dude, can't go wrong there.
Nice. Burgers, pizzas, or tacos?
Probably pizza, burgers, then tacos.
Yeah, that one seems like it's a rotating choice, depending on how hungry I am that day.
Right.
Um, coffee or tea?
I'll drink either. If I was by myself, I'd probably never drink it. But if
Nope.
people are, oh, let's go out and have a coffee, it'd be like, yeah, let's do that. But I don't think I'll ever like drink it like just on my own. Not out of like a dislike for it. It just kind of doesn't happen.
I'm the same way. I like tea. Coffee, not so much, but I like tea is just never my go-to. I don't ever go make some tea just because my wife will do it all the time, but I'm never on board with that. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Um, Maybe be invisible. Feel like you can
I
get
like
away with a lot.
invisibility.
Yeah.
It's always sneaky people that want to be invisible. What can I get away with? uh, uh, ooh, pool or darts?
Ooh. Probably pool, but like dark. Both are good, but yeah, I'd probably go with pool.
I like darts myself, man. I had a buddy who had a pool table in his basement when we were growing up, and he lived in his bedroom was basement adjacent, so he was always on that pool table every time. Since we were in like third, fourth grade, that kid was just running tables on people. I'm like, it's not even fun to play this with you anymore. You suck.
Yeah,
Uh,
my fraternity had a pool table, and we had like a cracked slate, so you kind of had that home field advantage of if you knew kind of how to like play.
home field advantage. I like that. That's a good one. What's the worst job you ever had?
Um, I worked like one day at this pool place, and the guy was just like real racist and just like
Oh,
real interesting, like openly. So I lasted one day there. That would probably have to be the worst.
yeah, I'd never. Having lived in Phoenix for almost 20 years, the thought of being a pool guy was like never on my thing. It's like I know it's steady work. It's definitely plentiful, and you can certainly get some large accounts making some serious dollars. But no, man, to have to work outside all day like that, man, hats off to those cats because that's not something I could do.
Right.
Um, all right, so a couple finish the sentence style questions. If you could star in any movie remake, what movie would that be?
Remake. Old school with the barrel.
You want to be
Uh,
so you want to be Frank the Tank?
Either that or blue.
All right, that's a solid call. I haven't heard that one yet, but that would definitely be in the better wheelhouse of movies to choose from. Uh, if you could have a chance meeting with someone from history, who would you choose?
History.
Like a lunch meeting. You got about an hour to go chill, have lunch.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm really like anyone in history.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be necessarily a historical figure. It could be you go back to grandma or grandpa. It could go all the way back to like Shakespeare, whoever you're feeling.
I think
Also,
it'd be pretty cool to meet Ken Tram.
that cat's still alive, and you can still do that.
Right.
But that's a good choice, my man. Hey, that's a good end around. I'm going to choose somebody who I still have the chance to meet and that can learn from and talk to.
Yeah.
Yes, very cool. I can be on board with that. If I wasn't a mead maker, I would be.
If I wasn't a mead maker, I don't know.
Ooh,
That's a good question. I kind
it's a
of got
bit,
all my eggs right that this is going to be how it ends up, but hopefully just happy with whatever
uh,
comes.
again, man, you have this like most zen type of attitude about it. You don't have like a fallback answer. Oh, I would do this or that or something else or nothing smart or quippy. Just a very matter of fact. Like, I don't know what I would do. I've never thought about doing anything else other than making mead. Like I love it. I think that's a great answer. Thank you, Christian, for joining me tonight, and we finally get a full, complex interview. I'm glad it was this one because I had a great time speaking with you tonight. I think you're a wealth of knowledge, and anybody out there who's fortunate enough to try some of your mead, if you watch this, shoot me a message because I'd love to know how it is. And like I said, if I ever get up to the New York area, I'm definitely going to swing by and steal a couple of those bottles out of your basement.
Man, I'll put your name on them, box you up something there nice, and looking forward to it. It's been a pleasure.
Right on, brother. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your evening, and I will see you around on the Instawebs.
Sounds good. Cheers.
Skull, cheers, man. So that was my man Christian over there, Speakeasy Meadery. Every time I talk to that guy, it's been awesome. And this time I'm glad we got a full interview in, a nice healthy chat, and you guys got to experience that. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Always appreciate when people stop by. Next several Wednesdays, at least the next 3 or 4 Wednesdays, we are going to be having more interviews with cats coming up. So I'll be sending those stories out, so be on the lookout for those as well. Remember, 8 p.m. Wednesdays. I'll see you here, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesdays. Thank you all so much. Have a good night.